So, welcome to the call, everyone, and thank you so much for being on live. Today, what I really wanted to dive into was just, talking about mindset and your mindset for success and what it's going to take in this group to really, see that success. You're all pushing for diamond, and all of the rest of it. And so, I want you guys to really think about a few things in terms of, your sneak peeks that you're organizing. You should all have those booked in now in this group. And really the mindset that you're taking into your business, because you are not followers of a leader. That's not what I want to produce here as a team. I want you guys to get into your mindset of being your own leader. And really with that comes, having your own conviction, having your own ability to really move through, and essentially just be that person who trusts their intuition, who, when they see other people doing whatever the heck they're doing, that you guys are really leveling up in this level up group, that you've applied to be a part of, and really being that person in this group. That's really important to me, because what I'm giving you in this group is exclusive to you guys, over and above, what the rest of the team are seeing. And the reason why you're getting that is because you've got these visions that you've shared with me, these goals, your goals to hit Success Club every month and everything else, which is a parameter of this group. But with that being said, you really need to be calling yourself out on, are you actually really being that person who trusts your own intuition? And it's something that Keith Callahan has been talking about in Build to Last, which is the book that I've recommended for this group that you guys listen to, because it's really about being a leader of leaders. And that being said, really thinking about, in your own environment, are you your own leader, or are you being a follower? And certainly if you want to build your business, with all of these big goals and visions that you guys have, whether that's to take kind of a full-time residual income in this business, or whether it's to build a part-time income, it really is about ensuring that you're being that leader for yourself. And I can promise you, there's a lot of stuff that I've been listening to in Keith's book again, and it's the second time I'm listening, and it really resonates with me as to why personally I've accelerated so quickly compared to other coaches in the network, and why I've seen that success. And honestly, I can promise you it's because I've trusted my intuition every step of the way. I don't worry about what other people are doing. Even, as my own kind of leader, watching Mackenzie is highly successful in her own right, but the way that I run my business is very, very different to Mackenzie. We have two completely different styles. We've hit certain parameters at exactly the same time. She's been in the business 2 years longer than me. But there were things that I looked at with what Mackenzie was doing, for example, and just said, what, that doesn't serve me. And I'm really confident in my own strengths and what I want to bring to the business in terms of my ability. And you guys are at that stage where you really have the ability to tune into what really clicks for you. And I want you guys to really think about, are you just following the pack? Are you just doing what everybody else is doing? You see someone running a boot camp, so now you're running a boot camp. You see someone posting this story, so you post that story. If that's you, I can promise you that you will never create that mindset of being a leader, but also you won't then be able to help your people coming through to be leaders of leaders. And that's what I want for this team. I don't want myself to produce leaders who are following a pack. I want you to be your own leaders in your own right. And it's certainly things that Donna, for example, she executes her business very, very differently to me. She's her own independent leader. She's got different goals. She's got different ways of doing things. You'll see that in her Instagram. And that's what I want, right? I want to create leaders who go and stand out on their own, in their own right. Yes, like absolutely, I want you guys to be doing sneak peeks. That is going to be fundamental to you building to diamond, having that confidence and that conviction to invite to the coaching opportunity. But working out, why would somebody want you to be their leader? What are your unique qualities? And all of you have got them. And really just drumming that self-belief back into yourself, because if you are indeed wanting to build a business that builds that residual income, that's the kind of mindset you need to have. And it was something actually that Danielle Natoni shared on the call last night with Josh Coach, who's the guest speaker. And Danielle was really talking about, just every step of the way. And this is something that I do, and it really struck me as like something that's going to separate you from the pack, something that's really going to help you see that success, is actually saying to yourself, do you know what, I really like the way that person does that, but actually I think I'd quite like to do it like this, and I'm going to really focus on this month, even if that person's not doing that. You know, like for example, in the beginning, I got told to get behind every single launch, and at that time in my business, I didn't want to. I wanted to focus on the coach opportunity. And actually, that's really where I accelerated through the Star Diamonds. Okay. Because I was aware of the new programs coming out. I wasn't making that my sole business purpose, though. It wasn't my sole marketing strategy. My sole marketing strategy was to absolutely nail Sneak Peeks, to talk about the coaching for 3 weeks in every 4-week period. And really, that is what I saw with my success, was that I actually trusted my intuition. I felt and sensed that actually those sneak peeks were going to lead me to where I wanted to go. And that wasn't what anybody else in my team was doing, right? Mackenzie would always lead with the boot camp. She really does actually honestly lead with the boot camp, and that works for her. But I've never been a girl that leads with the boot camp. So what I want you guys to really think about is, you know, and some of you guys are doing your first sneak peek, so you might not be there yet. You might not know where you really are gaining most traction. But for example, Jo this week I've been talking to, and she's feeling like she's having way more success inviting to the business opportunity. She's got way more people coming through, wanting to learn more about the business, wanting to get that information. And I said to her, yeah, you'll probably find that that's where you're going to excel. Okay. And as you go through this process building to diamond, as we know, we can build with discount coaches. Absolutely. You only need one working coach. You only need one working coach. So it could all be boot campers. So your strategy could be to do a sneak peek, but to focus primarily on boot camps and everything else. So I really think it is really fundamentally important to think about, you know, what you're doing with that. And guys, like we've got, 6 people on this call and 3 people aren't on video. And I would really love it if you were on video, because it's very hard to lead a call like this with everyone's screens off. Like it's difficult to talk to names on screens. Sorry, I just think it's just a little bit of respect that would be much appreciated. So really think about that in terms of kind of where you are and everything else, and what you feel and sense is working better for you. Like I really want you to do a personal audit in terms of those invites that you're sending out. What's being better received if you do have a strategy for coaching and boot camps? What's being better received by your clients, by your prospective clients? Are you getting more reception to your sneak peek, or are you getting more reception to a bootcamp invite? Somebody like Charlotte, I know typically she's had more reception with her bootcamp invite, and she's just kind of sounding it out with her coach sneak peek, what she's running tomorrow. And I know she's doing really well getting all of her girls into that. But she's also got a really clear strategy with her bootcamp, and that's something that she absolutely loves. Whereas for me, I'll be honest, I don't love really marketing the bootcamp. I don't love inviting to the bootcamp. And therefore, the volume of people that I bring through the business, coaches compared to bootcampers, is probably about 70%, 30%. Okay. But I've really trusted my intuition with that process and just said to myself, this feels right. This feels better to me. And so I'm going to go down that route and see what happens. And in all of it, I could have got lost like a rabbit in the headlights if I'd have worried about what, say, people in my upline were doing, like Janine and Mackenzie, like massively inviting to boot camps all the time. I wouldn't have got to where I would have got to, because if I'd have then made that the focus, I wouldn't have seen that much success, right? So I'm really playing to my strengths, which is actually my info sessions, being that leader, being that mentor. It's something I love. It's a transferable skill that's come from corporate London, because I've led teams and developed teams and everything else. And that might not be your strong skill set, okay? And that doesn't mean, again, as I've just said, that doesn't mean you can't build to 5-star, 10-star and beyond, if indeed that's your goal. You've got coaches in the network who are in the top 10 who lead with the boot camp still, right? They'll do the odd sneak peek, but they really do lead with the boot camp. So I want you guys to just sound that out. And for some of you, you might not even know what that is yet, but I really want you to kind of become your own CEO, your own business owner. Do a personal audit of your business. What is working for you? What isn't working for you? What's serving you? Are you sending out the invite, maybe a script that maybe I use, and maybe it's not working for you, but are you repeatedly using it because you think, hey ho, I'm just going to continue going with it because if it works for her, then it's going to work for me. And I want to be honest, I really want to give you guys the tools here to be your own leaders, to have that autonomy, to go and be that person for yourself, but also to say to yourself, do you know what? Maybe that works for Izzy, or maybe that works for that coach I'm watching, but I've tried it and actually being honest with myself, that doesn't work for me. And so I need to tweak and change it. You know, for example, again, like learning from Mackenzie, she's American. There's a lot of the wording and things that she would use and a lot of the ways that she would strategize her business that don't work this side of the pond. So I've changed and tweaked and sounded my way and been willing to be that person who kind of really just sounded out and has been willing to try things that I think might work. And I really want to bring you guys into that way of thinking, because we're not going to develop leaders here, which is what I want for you. I want you to be autonomous. I want you to have the most unbelievable success. I want you to have the tools here from me, but I want you to also know, do you know what? You have the confidence to go out and play to your skill set and work out what's working. So really wanted to just say that. And you know, being your own leader, the other thing that was something that I did kind of in the beginning, I would get the trainings from my team page, and this is something that I'm really focusing on as well at the moment. Obviously I'm doing Josh Coates' professional development, but really, again, if indeed your goal is to move through the ranks, are you being that coach that's autonomous, that's saying, right, do you know what? I'm actually really struggling with this thing in my business. Maybe it's overcoming objections, or maybe it's, I don't know, like your invite process, it's just not working, or maybe voice clips isn't working, or I don't know, you need a training on your follow-up process. Are you being that autonomous leader that says, do you know what? I need a training on that. So I'm going to go into YouTube, I'm going to put in a top coach's name, and I'm going to find one, because that is what I used to do every step of the way. I didn't wait for Mackenzie to spoon feed me anything. I've had like 2 calls with her in my entire coach career. I would go out and find them. And that is where I started to really step change my business, because I was like, do you know what? I can do this. I can do what Mandy Kai does. I can do what Kate Schultz does, because I actually have everything available at my fingertips to be that person I know I need to become in order to be that leader that I know I can be. And I want to give you guys that today and say, do you know what? Every single one of you is absolutely capable of doing that. Like Charlotte, for example, she will often, you know, she's very good, like to call Charlotte out, she's very good at recognizing what her strengths are, what plays to her skill set and what doesn't. And if you guys go into Charlotte's Instagram as an example, you'll see that she's very fitness orientated. She's talking about the workouts a lot and all of that, because that's where her passion lies and that's where she's come from. You know, she was a real gym bunny and everything else, and so her tribe are going to love that. And you know, and I might say on team trainings, don't post too much about fitness because there's more to your life than just fitness, and Charlotte does cover that, but she probably covers more fitness than perhaps I would, for example. Okay, so just really having that kind of confidence in yourself that, you know what, I'm not going to worry what everyone else is doing, because I sense and believe that this process is going to work for me. And I promise you that if you start to trust your intuition and gut more, guys, with decisions in your own business, which, let's face it, is the reason why you're here, because you want to be your own independent coach running your own independent business, and you start to be that leader and call yourself out when you're just going ahead to try and just follow the pack, you will really step into your own. And again, like some of you guys are, you know, newer on this coach journey than others. Some of you are more developed than others. And some of you are going to need to look at maybe what I'm doing as an example, or another top coach that you like, to get ideas from. But I can promise you, the quicker that you start to step into that place of, do you know what? I don't know the answer to that, and I want to be really good at that, and I'm going to find the best training for it, right? Like, not to blow my own trumpet, we have pretty phenomenal training in the UK. Like Thomas at Corporate will often say to me, as a team in the UK, I know you guys, you deliver your guys the best training, but I am not the best coach in the network. There are coaches out there who are going to do things completely differently to me, and I want you guys to be aware of that. And in this group, that's what I'm looking to create, is giving you guys that autonomy and self-belief in yourself. So I'm just coming back to some of Danielle's notes from yesterday, because there was just so many amazing nuggets on that call. So I just wanted to cover them with you guys today. She also said, when you build, and this is something, you guys are coming into with your sneak peeks, when you start to get builders, work with the working, right? And this is one thing that I can really teach you guys. If you get a working coach, don't ever drag anyone along, okay? And that's something that I've really learned the hard way. And that's why, in my systems, the way that I operate and lead the team is that you do your business activity tracker, I will make the time to chat to you. And if you don't, then I'm not going to, and I'm not going to feel guilty about that, because yes, this business is about community. A lot of it is built on community, and we need those people in our environment to make it fun. And that's what makes it fun for us all, right? But ultimately, you're running a business, okay? And I think the quicker that you can learn that as you start to onboard people and not get emotionally attached, because there are going to be people that want to run, but there are also going to be people that say they want to run and then actually they're just there for the party, okay? Which is fine, but you don't want to dedicate loads of your business time to them. So yeah, just working out who your players are, like who are your players, who is doing the work, and working with the working. Even if the ones that are working aren't actually doing that well in terms of the figures that they're producing, if they're showing you that they are doing those systems, then you're going to work with them, okay? For example, Danielle shared yesterday, she said, I've never done a sneak peek in my life. And Josh, I shared what Josh put in that group. He said, don't think just because she says she's not doing it, that means don't do it. Like, don't be a sheep, right? And that was really interesting to me, that Danielle Natoni doesn't do sneak peeks. I don't really know another coach that doesn't. I know that her downline all do, but that works for her. But she has absolute confidence in the fact that, she onboards in a different way, and that's fine. So I think just the quicker, as I said, that I can teach you guys to just recognize in yourself, like, number one, try to really tune in on, are you not wanting to do something because you're bloody terrified, which is completely different to it not playing to your skill set, because quite frankly, if you haven't done a sneak peek before, it's not going to be your skill set yet because you haven't done it, okay? So you're in that process. But I just wanted to share that. And as I said in that thread, like, download that book, Build to Last. He is just the most phenomenally intelligent man, Keith Callahan, and he is one of the kind of founding coaches and has built many multi diamonds in his downline. And he really is a leader of leaders. And that's what he instills in his people. And that's why I'm getting you to do this, right? I don't want you guys all leaning on my sneak peek. No, I don't, because then what am I doing? I'm creating people that are just following me that aren't going to be their own leaders. And that's not to say that right now, because you haven't done one, that you can't use mine. And it doesn't mean that if you do your own that you can't also still leverage mine whilst you're working. But what you need to be to build a sustainable business long term, which is going to serve you and is going to give you guys those incomes that you are all working towards, whether or not it's to go part-time with teaching or whether it is to go full-time, you are going to need to be that autonomous leader yourself, okay? So just really, when you've got a question about something or you don't know the answer, again, it's, it's a bit like being at school or at university, like, go and try and find the answer first. And the more that you can do that, guys, the more confident you're going to get, because you're going to be like, damn, I can source these. I don't actually, all I need is my Google search bar. All I need is YouTube. I don't need to lean on anyone. And I think the quicker that I can kind of get you guys to just be your own leaders in that sense, the better. So what I also wanted to talk about today was, obviously, in our Diamond Push group, we have the amazing Get Financially and Physically Fit group, which is on Tuesday. That's the event that Bailey's created. So just make sure, guys, I know like some of you have got sneak peeks. I think Imogen's just done hers. Charlotte's got hers tomorrow. I'm not sure when. Shannon, when's yours?
I'm doing mine in October. I wasn't doing one in September just because I've had too much going on. So I wanted to do it in October. Okay. I haven't written a date down now. I need to do that.
Okay, no worries. And Stephanie, you did yours is scheduled for the end of this month, isn't it?
Yeah, the 26th.
Yeah. And Joe, I think you said end of this month, didn't you? You're on mute, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to do mine at the end of the month. I've got all my sort of script to do it tomorrow. I'm going to record, I'm going to run it through a couple of times first. So,
yeah. And I think with those guys, on the topic of the sneak peeks, absolutely what Joe's doing is what I would recommend. Like, fail to prepare and prepare to fail. Like, it is my favorite quote of all time. And yeah, you might see me flying by the seat of my pants a lot with my coach business. And that's why I've seen success, because do you know what? I take messy action and it's never perfect. And you'll see that about me. That's just the kind of person I am. But that's why I've seen success. That being said, I still, with things like a sneak peek, you better bet, like as Shannon said, like she's got a really busy month with teaching. And you know what? I really respect that, because you need to have a clear time in your diary. You need to have planned it 2 weeks ahead of time. You need to be calling it to action. You need to be actively inviting heavily, and then really planning how those posts go in. You know, you'll see with my sneak peek, I have a very structured way of leading people into the sneak peek. So I do like a welcome, then I do an introduce yourself, then I share the times. And then in the background on the day, I'm sharing the times of the sneak peek, because I'm really just rallying as many people as I can into that sneak peek and building trust, because I'm being that leader already for them. And they're going, do you know what? This girl has got together, you know? So make sure when you do your sneak peek, you've got your together with it. Okay. You know, Imogen had the cat in the background. You can't help that, right? If you've got animals or kids like me, unfortunately, there's probably not going to be a great time in the day where you can just do it without interruption, unless I do mine in the middle of the day, which I've basically decided I'm not going to do, because then I miss the Canadians and Americans, and that's a big part of my market. And I love building a global team. That's what I love about Beachbody. So, you know, for you, that might not be true. It might be actually that you're a coach. You know what? I don't want to build like Izzy. I just want to have a British team. And that's also fine. So again, like, just call to question, when is the best time to do it? And run it through, like as Joe said, absolutely fantastic idea. I know the first sneak peek I did, I must have run it through about 4 times. I've always been like that. I've been like that for my exams. When I did my A-levels, I was the girl that used to do so much revision, because the thought of not being prepared for something used to make me like almost physically vomit. Like, I'm the girl that has to be super prepared. And I can promise you with those, if you're really prepared, you're going to go into them feeling that much more confident, because you will have run them through. You know, if you've got a dictaphone, I don't know if you guys used to do like French rules and stuff, like dictaphone, record, playback, that kind of organization is going to serve you so well, because then when you come into the sneak peek, you're going to be like, do you know what? I might have 5 people watching, and I fucking hope so, because I know I'm going to nail it. And that kind of confidence, people can feel it. Okay. So again, like, I don't do that now, obviously, because I've done them for quite a long time, but you can, again, without wanting to sound arrogant, I am confident when I deliver my sneak peek, because I know what I'm going to talk about. And I want you guys to feel like that when you're delivering those, because people feel that, right? They feel the emotion, they feel the confidence, they feel the excitement, and they feel the enthusiasm. So sorry, that was like off on a tangent on a sneak peek, but hopefully that was really useful. So coming back to the webinar on Tuesday, just really make sure, guys, I know Charlotte's got a sneak peek tomorrow. So it's just for you guys that have immediately got sneak peeks right now, it's how you do that. And I wouldn't worry massively, right? If your sneak peek is working and you're going for it and you know you smashed it, continue doing that. Don't change your strategy right now. You really need to keep your tunnel vision on if your sneak peek is right now. But for those of you guys that have got it at the end of the month or October, I would literally be going hell for leather, sharing that in your stories. It is the most incredible opportunity, as I said before we started recording, because we've got coaches. Laurie Lang, I think, has been a coach 12 years. She's a superstar diamond. So she's going to really talk to the guys about what this business can build from experience. Like, I think she earns $1 million a year, honestly. You know, we've got 8-star diamonds, we've got 5-star diamond, we've got Lindsay Vice, who's my upline, who is also a superstar diamond, lifetime superstar diamond. So that is a great opportunity, because again, like Shannon, you're super busy with your teaching right now. Steph, I know you've got a lot on with, you know, your legal work and being a, you know, full-time single mum. You can just send those invites out and be like, you know, you can just tailor my invite, guys, or they've all been shared in the group, and just go for it. So for the next 5 days, just say, do you know what? Any strategy I had, I'm just going to invite, I'm going to connect with people, follow them, and invite, and even go back to the people that you need to follow up with and say, hey, I've got an amazing opportunity to share with you. Get financially and physically fit with some incredible coaches in my global team. If I add you to it, do you want to take a look? You know, really simple. You just get them into the event the rest history, right? So really leverage that, because that's why it's been created, to really help you guys maximize your month and get you guys hitting diamond. But as I said, like someone like Charlotte, possibly not. I would just focus on your sneak peek and getting everyone in there. So yeah, I would definitely leverage that. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I wanted to cover. Just really getting yourself into that mindset, and that Build to Last book is really going to help you do that. I literally listen to Keith Callahan, and once I start listening to him, I literally can't turn it off. It's just music to my ears. I just love listening to all of his ideas. And I would say for this group, you want to be doing personal development every day, but you want to find 15 minutes in your day, or even 5 minutes. Like I know some of you guys work full time, 5 minutes at the end of your day to listen to a professional development book. Build to Last is professional development. It is all about what it's going to take to be a leader of leaders, to really build this business big, and what that takes from you. And then having another book that doesn't forego your mindset, right? Because if you just focus on professional development, you pick up Build to Last and you're just doing meditation in the morning, guess what's going to happen? You're going to feel like SHIT, you're going to have a bad day, and then you're going to go, oh, I'm finding it really difficult. And it's because you actually need both. And certainly when I was kind of a newer coach, that was a commitment to myself. Professional development, personal development, professional development, personal development. It was a habit every single day. And I think you guys will see phenomenal shifts in your business when you start to commit to that every day. Yeah, and in the car is perfect. Like when I work, like all my fitness classes, and I was dropping Arthur off at the nursery, and then I was PTing, then I was in the golf club working golf club hours. It was just mind-numbingly boring. And then I'd be in the car to pick Arthur up. I would literally just soak in PD whenever I could. So like in the car is my favorite time to listen. Not so much anymore because I can't, because Arthur just chats his hind legs off a donkey, so I can't listen to it. That was the benefit of having a baby, because he didn't really chat. I just went to sleep when I put him in the car, which is perfect for PD, and now I can't do that. But yes, like Claire used to listen in the shower. Like I'm in the shower now. So yeah, like, and that's what I love about this business. One of the things I love the most is that if you take every little pocket of time that you would have nothing in your brain, I literally fill it with growth, i.e. I'm filling it with listening to personal development or professional development. You'll find me going downstairs to make a cup of tea, and I'll plug my earphones in just for 5 minutes. It's an extra 5 minutes of growth that's free time. You will start to really see yourself accelerate away from the crowd when you start to just be like, do you know what? I need a training on this because that's my weak spot. And after this call, I would encourage you to just sit down and write down a SWOT analysis. I don't know if you guys have ever done that. It's something that we did certainly at Savills: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats on a grid. And really thinking about, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Where are my opportunities? Where haven't I grown yet? And I know I could, and I'm too scared to. That's an opportunity. And your threat, like what's the threat? I don't know. Instagram is, a threat because it could go down. Have you built your business so that it is, it's immune to that? And again, that was something Danielle shared. She said, at the earliest possible opportunity, you want to get hold of people's email addresses. You need to be building an email address as quickly as you can. So even for you guys here, create a freemium. You've probably seen my recipe book. Yeah, it's probably going to take an hour of your time, but it's a way, like you've probably seen it in my stories, it's a way to get people's emails. Start getting emails, start tracking it. Danielle said yesterday, until you've got an email list, you don't have a business. She said, she's 10 years down the track. You can imagine her email list, but that's how she builds. She doesn't do any Instagram messaging anymore. She only goes in Instagram to build, to then get emails to create mailers. Okay, so Flowdesk is where you want to go. It's probably a bit early for this group, but it's never too early to start getting those email addresses and building a freemium. That's awesome, because you're going to build trust. You're going to get people's email addresses. You've basically got permission to continue to send the mailers. And hopefully you guys get mine and you can see like how Flowdesk works. It's amazing. It can feed through to Instagram and everything else. And just another couple of things that Danielle covered that I think are really useful. She said something yesterday that hit me, for any of you guys that are mothers. she said, if there's one thing that I would have done differently, my kids were really young when she started to build the business, and she said I would have protected them more from social media. I wouldn't have shared them as much, because they're becoming their own individual entity, and it's up to them whether or not they want to be showcased in Instagram. Now, again, you'll see people like Ashley Molstad, top of the network, shares every other photo as a baby, like Emily Forver, and ultimately that's up to you. But that hit me, and it's something that I'm actually taking a measured view on. I do share Arthur because he's a huge part of my business in terms of my drive, and I want to share him because he's such a huge part of my life, but I am going to really start thinking about that. So that was something. And the other thing she said, and this is something that I'm really implementing, you probably notice, like there are times in the day when I'm super active. I know you guys who work full time are like, okay, loads of updates from Izzy. And there are times where I'm not, okay? And that's because I shut off. I'm going to finish this call and I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to shut off, and I won't pick my phone back up again until to look at messages till after I've done my PD in the morning. So it's probably about 5:45 in the morning. So I'm literally switching off. Okay. And then when I pick my son up from school at 3:30, I switch off, and I've been in the pub, and we've been in the pub this evening for about 2-3 hours. And then I came up at actually 7:30, I did bedtime. So I really want you guys to start thinking like that, because I've been that girl who, and you're probably all that girl, because you love this business, you want to do well, you're on your phone, you're on your phone, you're on your phone. That is not going to be conducive to building a business. You'll hit burnout, and actually you're not respecting yourself. You're not respecting yourself because you're not building in business hours. When I sit down, I'm only working. If I get a WhatsApp message from a friend, you better bet I'm not even going to look at that. I respect my business time. I'm working my business. When I'm working my business, I'm not scrolling stories. I'm in Instagram for a reason. I'm either connecting, following up, inviting, or I'm doing something for the team, or I'm drafting my post. I am not on my phone for any other reason if I'm in my business hours, which I can promise you saves me from burnout. I don't feel burnt out. I get that time. And also it makes you so much more efficient. When I started Beachbody, you can all tell, like, I am a really obsessive personality, and I love coaching, and I would do it all day and night if I could, because I love it. But that doesn't serve me in the long term. And so in the beginning, I would literally be like, oh, so that person's replied. Oh my God, I need to reply. And you reply. And then number one, what does that say about you? If someone messages you, they say they're ready to get started, and you immediately reply, that smacks of desperation, number one. So they'll see that you're not respecting yourself or your business, in my opinion, if you're going to reply immediately. Unless it is clear that you're in your business hours, in which case that's obviously fine. And number two, you're going to lose track. You're going to lose track of all of it, because you will have done it in a pocket of time, maybe like your mum, like me, and you're with your kid and you're like, oh, I've replied, and then you lose the message, or, you know, and it's just a bit of a shit show, quite frankly. So really call yourself out on that right now if you're that girl that isn't doing that, because I can promise you, particularly if you're working full time and you're doing that, you will want to quit this business. I promise you, because you just, what, like, that's shit. Instead, build yourself a time block for 10 minutes. Right, I've set my timer, 10 minutes. I'm going to reply to my messages. I've got my tracking system up, and I'm going to know when I'm going to need to follow up with them because I've replied, and then I put it into my tracking system. Okay. And again, like, I went through tracking systems on the team call the other day. If you guys don't have a tracking system on here, we have a big problem, because you guys don't have a business. So again, if you haven't done that, go and find a streak training. Actually, Steph, you asked me for my streak training the other night, and do you know what? I didn't reply to you about it, so I will send it to you. I've got a streak training on my YouTube. But I want you guys to draw the line on that now if you're doing that, because I promise you, you will be amazed how productive you can be. I'll be honest, like in my business, every single day, oh, you found it, well done. You're probably scrolling for ages, but you're being your own leader. What was I saying? I've just lost my thought train. What was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. It's gone off my head. But yeah, so hopefully that's been helpful. But yeah, I would just call yourself out on that right now. And that's what I was going to say. In my business, you know, Arthur goes to school at 9:30 to 3:30. And my business hours, in terms of me doing my income producing activities, takes me about 2.5 hours. Okay. And that's it, done in the morning. Like, Joe's often on my power hours in the morning. She probably pretty much sees me getting that stuff done. that's what I'm doing. I'm executing my business. And in the afternoon, before I pick Arthur up, you guys will notice that's when I do my little calls with you guys. So it is completely manageable, even with a full-time job. And obviously think about the size of my team and who I'm speaking to. So has anybody got any questions, anything they want to ask, anything they're unsure of about sneak peeks, anything, just go for it. No. Looks like Charlotte's about to pop off to sleep.
Sorry, I shouldn't even have been on this call tonight, but I logged on for a power hour, so I've just stayed. This is really good.
Sorry, it's fine. Do you know what? I remembered earlier, but in my time that I wasn't working my business, that I needed to message you, and then by the time it was my working, I just forgot to message you. So I'm really sorry.
That's fine. I've got loads of notes anyway.
I'm glad it was helpful. Right. Okay. Let's do a boomerang. Okay. Does anyone have a question other than Gail? Sorry. No. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, hopefully that's been helpful. If you've got any specific questions, just send them to me. And good luck with your sneak peeks. Bye.